Hello, everyone, and welcome to my podcast, The Good Coach. My name is Ruchi Parekh, and I'm an executive life coach and NLP practitioner, speaker, author, and former lawyer. Thank you for coming and watching my show. This podcast is to tell stories about professionals and their journeys that has led them to where they are today. Please give a warm welcome to my guest today, Wanamakok. She's an international artist, an actress, founder of Find Your Voice Asia and Inspired Voices community. She's also a motivational speaker and author. Welcome to the show, Abel. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. There was a lot of titles there. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so glad to have you here. Let's dive in, Abel. So I was doing a bit of research on you, and I saw that you started off your career in the hospitality world and then moved to mass communication. Such diverse industries. Tell us a bit about your journey and what's got you this far.
Okay, I'll keep this very short. This is like 30 years. Well, maybe not that much, but my parents have a restaurant in Ohio, so in the US. And my dad was a chef. So I grew up in the restaurant business, and I have always been, serving people, I guess you can say that, just serving people since I was about 13, 14, and helping my parents with their business. And, when you're young, you don't really know what you're good at. I knew that I was good with people. I had good communication skills and that I was very good at multitasking, let's just say that. So my dad suggested, okay, hey, well, why don't you just, go to work in a hotel like me before? Because my dad worked at the Holiday Inn, Golden Mile in Hong Kong. And, it gave him a really nice career, but my dad loves cooking. I didn't. So anyways, I still went into business, and I minored in hospitality management in university. I graduated, and then I started to work as a corporate management trainee at the Hyatt Regency Columbus in Ohio still. And I was there for a year and a half. And then after that, my husband and I, who is Thai, we decided to move to Phuket, Thailand. This was right after the tsunami. So we came here, and then all the hospitality things didn't happen. And then somehow I was invited to work in a small newspaper called the Phuket Gazette at the time. And then that's where my mass communications and performing arts industry started. So yeah, just keeping it short.
Coming into Thailand got you where you are today.
Yeah, totally. I mean, everything that I have done in Thailand has nothing to do with what I studied. It has absolutely nothing to do with what I thought I could do. I had no idea that I was good in performing arts. I had no idea what MC or hosting, like I have no idea what any of this work is.
And now that's your full-time career, being MCing, being an artist, a performing artist, an actress. And for our audience, Abel lives in the amazing beach town of Phuket in Thailand. Does life seem like a constant vacation?
No. I mean, people come here for vacation, but we live here.
Exactly.
So we have to make a living here. I mean, I have kids and I have businesses and career with my husband. So the weather obviously is very tropical.
Yes.
And of course, there's a lot of tourists in the town, but I do not feel like I'm on vacation. Most definitely not.
Tell me, what would you say is a myth of your industry, the performing industry, the creative industry? What are a few myths that you think our audience should know?
Well, obviously, it's very creative, meaning there are a lot of you that you have to put into the work. It's not a systematic or a standardized way of working. For example, when people are telling me, okay, Abel, I want you to present the script, and like they give me a script, I help to prepare the script, but they give me the flow, let's say, and then I create the script with them, and then they have to approve it, but they never tell you how to perform it. The performance comes from my being. It comes from my personality, the essence of who I am. It comes from my imagination and my ability to create.
Lovely. And that's where your uniqueness comes out. The you shines through.
Yes, exactly. So every artist, every creative person, they're showing a part of themselves to through their work, and then it's not like something that I can teach you. I mean, I can teach you, for example, how to speak better. Of course, I can teach some basic acting skills. I can obviously teach you how to present, but you have to present it your way. So you will never be me. Like you will never be able. Like you will never, ever, ever be able. And I would never aspire to be somebody else. So you would just be yourself with the skills that, let's say, I can share with you, or I can teach you, or I can guide you with. And then you have to be yourself in your work. So people cannot tell me you have to perform this way. They can give you guidance on how they want you to say something, like, oh, more excited, more happy, more serious, more, but the way it comes out has to come from me. So my clients have to like my style as well.
And all of this without a formal education. This is through your experiences. How many years have you been in this industry? How many years have you been performing, have been an actress?
17 years.
Wow. So tell me, in this role as an actress, as a performer, as an MC in the entertainment world, what role does confidence play? How much of it is inbuilt and how much did you have to really pull out and learn?
I love this question because I am teaching confidence because I didn't have much confidence before. And I think in my last podcast with you, I already told you before that, I dealt with in the past tense. Okay. So I'm no longer a victim. I dealt with a lot of racism and discrimination when I was living in the US. As an immigrant from Hong Kong to the US, because my parents were not from wealthy backgrounds. We were very poor. So my parents have a poor thinking mentality. And like I said, everything I'm saying is past tense. Okay. So they had a very poor mentality and they work really hard to, support us. And, we always feel that we were less because we were immigrants. We were like third class citizens. So coming into a new country, from Hong Kong to the US, you can perceive Hong Kong people as being, like, you're like so competent and maybe you can call them kick ass, but I wasn't that yet. I was just a kid. So I had lacked a lot of confidence back then, not speaking English, like zero. Okay. Not speaking any English.
Look at you now.
Now look at me now. I probably speak better English than some foreigners. And the confidence definitely comes from accepting yourself and seeing your place as understanding your place in society, and under less than other people. And even though people make you feel you are less because they have their own fears, they have their own projection that they push onto you. And as a kid, you wouldn't know that. So as I grew older, I grew wiser. I also realized that I am not as lacking confidence as I thought, because I am very optimistic and I am very competent and I'm very able, which is my name. And I don't need to make myself feel any smaller now to make other people feel better. And I also don't need to make people feel less just because I'm confident. But the confidence, I have to say, is a life journey. And understanding yourself as well. It's most about understanding yourself and what you feel you can do.
What really stood out for me in what you said, Abel, is understanding your place in this society, in this world. Not thinking that you're any less or smaller because you are different. I think that understanding, because the chaotic noises around us are forever trying to suppress us and trying to bring your voice out, stand out from that crowd. It takes a lot, and you managed it. So kudos to you. Tell me something. What is the one lesson you think that you learned the hard way, and by sharing it with our audience, maybe it could help them, and everyone should learn it at some point of time. What was that lesson for you?
I think the lesson was definitely a lesson about self-love. Not to sound cheesy, and this is not something that I learned from COVID. This is something that I actually needed to learn my whole life. I teach confidence now, and I teach public speaking now, and all of that is related to confidence. And confidence comes from knowing and accepting yourself. And, when you feel that you're less because you were born poor, because you're born an immigrant, or whatever you want to label yourself as, all of these labels that you can give to yourself to keep yourself small or to give an excuse to not do something, you're just stopping yourself from being better, being the best. I don't want to say best version, just giving yourself the chance to enjoy life. That's it. I just want to enjoy life. And learning about self-love and learning that I'm worthy of love, and that you do not mistake, for example, that the lack of attention that I did not get from my parents was not a lack of love. It was my misunderstanding that because my parents were so busy trying to survive, not thrive, my parents were so busy because of their lack mentality, and also they need to take care of the kids. They have to make sure that there's business running. They didn't have time to give to my brother and I. They didn't have time to really give us emotional support, especially with schooling, especially with bullying, especially with racism. They don't have that time to give to us, and has nothing to do with their lack of love. I misunderstood that. So they didn't give us a lot of time, but they still loved me. They still loved me the best that they knew how. And I think that's definitely the main thing, is the self-love. That, it is not your perception of what love is. It is, you need to understand that you are always loved, whether your parents are really there for you or not. They try their best to give you what they can give you. And I'm saying my parents because all of our lacks come from our childhood. All of our perceived inabilities, not good enough, all come from our childhood. And that's why I mentioned.
Yes, our values and belief systems are created in our childhood based on our first interactions with that's our parents, our immediate family, and our environment. So you would say the lesson you learned was trust that you are loved and start with self-love. Because
yes, definitely. I mean, I can elaborate on that, but just to keep it simple, it's knowing that you deserve love always, at any time. Yeah.
And tell me something. My research also showed me that you have a mantra that you live by, and I'm going to read it out. It says, "I want to live an extraordinary life, not an ordinary one."
Right.
What does an extraordinary life mean?
Extraordinary life is just what I said earlier, is that you are giving yourself the most opportunity to live your fullest life. I don't want to be just a housewife. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. Okay. That's just not my path. Like I'm not satisfied with just staying at home with my kids. I'm just not satisfied. That hunger within me is not satisfied. I do not want to just be helping my husband with his business. There are lots of people who are very happy to be the supporter of their husband, or vice versa. I am not happy to be single. I need to be married, to be married to a man, and to have children. That's a need that I have as well. So extraordinary means that I am living my life based on my purpose. And extraordinary means that I do not reduce myself because of fear, because of what people had said to me, because of my parents never tell me what I cannot do. My parents never do that. But the classmates of my past would.
So even when you were a child, your parents never told you what you could or could not do?
No. And they never told me that I need to be a doctor or a lawyer, or I think they were just too busy with the restaurant. They had no time, like they never tried to put me into like a stereotypical role of what they think I should be. They always asked me to be a business owner, though. They don't say that, oh, you just go get a job. And I mean, they do say that, but they would encourage me to have my own business. So I always really very happy with my parents for encouraging me. Because they don't reduce, like they don't try to make me feel small in any way.
They didn't try putting you in a box. They gave you wings, which is so beautiful. So that gets me to asking you, if there was something, some piece of advice you could go back and give your younger self, what would that be?
I like this question. I would just tell little Abel, I said, everything will be fine. Everything is great. Like, that's it. I mean, all the fears that our human minds give to us because we want to see the future, we want to know the future, we want assurance, we want reassurance, we want insurance. I mean, we just can't. Nobody can see the future, even if you're a prophet. And you just have to believe yourself in this moment in time that you'll be fine. You'll be all right. And that you are also, and now in my adult mind and in my very spiritual mind, is that there is no death, there is only transition. So I'm very spiritual in that way, and I don't fear death, and I don't fear too much anymore, because fear has been my life for the longest time. And so fear is a very good friend of mine. Whenever I feel fear, I know that, okay, it's time to get prep more, be a bit more ready. That's all the emotion is telling me. The fear is just telling me to, okay, prepare your mind a bit better. Maybe go and do some exercise. Prepare your script better. Maybe do a little bit more practice. I mean, that's it. That's all fear does to me now. It doesn't stop me from like, oh my God, I can't, like there's no more of that. Like none of that bullshit. I'm sorry, but none of that anymore, because I've had so much fear in my life. Moving to the US, moving schools constantly, between the age of 10 to 14, being made fun of all the time, people telling me how stupid I am, how ugly I am, how dumb I am because I don't speak English. And then I just wanted to be invisible. And that kept me really grounded to have this amazing career and life that I have now, because I am very grounded and I'm not egotistical about the achievements that I've had. Because
You
I
are
have
such an inspiration, April. Look at you. Look at you. I mean, just hearing about your past is heart wrenching. And look at where you reached today. It is so inspiring, and really want to applaud you for all this hard work you've done. But tell me, you say you've overcome this fear, but what about someone who's in the grips of that fear right now, not being able to overcome it? Is there some ritual, some tips, some tools, some technique, anything, something simple you can share with our audience who, at that moment when you're yet in the throes of fear, what do you do?
I would say that if you're alone and you're not able to reach out to anybody, because I do help people to overcome their fear if I was their coach. But if you're alone, I ask you to allow the emotions to be there and not to,
Accept instead of pushing it away.
yeah, and just realize that the emotions is there to help you to understand yourself better. The emotion is not there to cause you the pain that you may be feeling. It might be affecting it might be creating anxiety, it might be creating nervousness. So accepting the feeling, and also breathe. Breathing, it's free. You have it anytime you want. And maybe you can ask for help, on learning. For example, I learned how to breathe from yoga. And when I'm saying breathing, I just mean focusing only on not all the problems that you have created in your mind or that your mind have created for you, but focus on your living. You're living now. You are living it because you're breathing. And remember that you're living now. What are you doing now that can help you to let go of this fear, or accept the fear and let the fear take you to a place where you can overcome the fear? So I'm not going to elaborate into that, because that requires some coaching. But breathing and like just calming yourself, closing your eyes, and you don't need no YouTube channel. No, you don't need nothing. Just be with yourself and just breathing, and knowing that you are breathing reminds you that you are living now. Because fear comes from,
Grateful for that you're living now.
yeah, because fear comes from past and present. Not knowing the future and living in the past. That's where fear comes from. But if you continue to let your mind create the fear in your present moment by thinking, you will continue to have fear in this moment. That's why I'm asking you to focus on your breath. That is the quickest, easiest, cheapest thing you can do anywhere, anytime with yourself. If you don't like breathing, you do walking meditation.
I
You go talk.
I also love, sorry, I also love what you just said about acknowledging the fear, its presence, and reminding yourself that it's just a fear, it's just an emotion. It's not come to shake you up, it's not come to change your life. It's an emotion, like another emotion, that's come in your life. I think that and the breathing would be very helpful and powerful for someone who's feeling it, and before they can, get that courage to take those steps to asking for support, because many a times we don't get that courage to even ask for help. It's something that takes us a while when you're feeling so down and out. I think
Yes. And don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed. I said this to a really good friend of of mine recently. Don't be ashamed of the emotions that you feel. I mean, how are you expected to know everything? I don't know everything. I mean, please, come on.
it's not possible for anyone to know.
Please, like, tell yourself it's okay. Like, you can't know everything. You won't know everything, even though you're like 80, 95, 100. You don't know everything, and it's okay to not know. And so all of these maybe feelings of embarrassment, being ashamed, it's okay to feel that too. It's okay to feel that, but don't let it grip you for too long. Go and find
The fear of the unknown. The fear of the unknown really grips a lot.
Yeah. And if you feel that you just can't, then go to somebody you trust and say, I don't feel good. I'm not sure what to do. Just acknowledging that is already going to be like a really big step for some people. I don't know what to do and I don't feel good. At least say it,
Thank you for your ever encouraging, knowledge, experience that you're sharing with us today. My last question for you, Abel. Tell me, if there's something you wish I'd asked you, what would that be? Something I missed, something about you that you thought I should have asked you in our podcast today?
Um, hmm.
Share
Maybe
about your glamorous life, being in the limelight. What does it feel like? What role does confidence play? How important is it? How is life in the limelight?
Oh, thank you. My brain was kind of, like, I'm not sure. um, I think in a limelight is not really as big of a deal as you think it is. I mean, obviously, I'm not like a super big star, but I do feel that I'm a star in my own world, meaning that I'm not little. Like, I'm not belittling myself, and that, my kids are my biggest fans, for example, and I don't need people to give me a validation or like an approval or that blue check to remind myself that I am somebody. um, I think, it's just once again, I do not advise anybody to seek too much of this fame, even though I have always sought fame, because I felt that if people didn't know me, how am I going to get hired? It is true to a point, but I think that there is a point where you get to where you feel like, what is enough? Like, how much fame is enough? How much money is enough? How much title is enough? How many certificates do you need to have is enough? How many kids do you need to have enough? How many guys, coming to make you feel better? Like, how many boyfriends do you need? Like, all of these things that we seek outside of us. How much is enough? And I only recently got to the stage of my acceptance that, hey, Abel, stop trying to seek this stupid blue mark validation or whatever verification mark. Like, I was chasing that for the last few years. Are you less? Are you going to be more? You get this little stupid little check mark that somebody gave you when they have no idea who you are. So the egotism and the seeking fame in our current world, it's enhancing, it's the ego tricking you into telling you to think that you are not enough if you don't have these validations. You are not enough if you don't have this. You are not enough if you don't have this. And I think I've lived long enough, and I have lived enough lives of my past that I realized what I have now, and I do not have millions in my account. I never had. But what I have now, I feel really satisfied. And that's why I can say I actually feel peaceful inside. I have enough. That's it. So yeah, I mean, like the limelight thing is, yeah, it's great. It's fun. Then when I come home, I'm just able. Like there's no more limelight. I change my clothes immediately because they're uncomfortable. you know?
So
Um,
be comfortable in your skin,
yeah, exactly.
happy with who you are.
Yeah,
Without, and
yeah,
most
yeah,
humans are constantly looking for that external validation. I feel I am guilty of it at times too. So I think that constant self talk, the constant belief in yourself that you are enough, I have enough, I am enough, whether
yeah.
it works or not, to remind yourself constantly, I think goes a long way.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I'm still learning too. I mean, there are times when I feel like I need that check mark. I need that little blue check mark, like, oh. And then when you realize, like every time after you have something that is like, wow, it feeds your ego, it doesn't last that long. It only lasts for a very short time. And then you realize, oh, that's it. That's
It's
it.
it's that short burst of
Yeah,
high. It's that
yeah,
boost to your ego, and then you're going back to chasing it again.
yes, yes. But the other thing I wanted to say that is opposite of this is if you have not followed your dream, if you have not tried, then you must try. I'm not encouraging you to not try to chase your dreams. I'm not encouraging you to just be mediocre. That's not what I'm saying. You have to try to give yourself the best opportunity, but you have to realize that anything that is outside of you, all the external things, they only last for a very short time. And it might boost your ego for a short time, and it might fly you up into the sky, but something will also bring you back down. And this comes from living. So I can't, you have to live in order to know this. I can't just give you advice and then like you just know it right away. It's not a knowing. It's just you just kind of know through your mind, but you don't know through your heart yet. So you will know through your heart when you have lived and when you have failed and when you have been hurt, when you suffer, then you choose and you make better decisions. That's it. So just live, go live your life, go live.
Honey, go live. What beautiful golden words from Abel. Thank you so much. I think our audience has got such amazing words of wisdom, golden nuggets. Let's give them so many different names. But Abel, this has been such an enriching conversation. I have learned so much from you today. Thank you
Oh,
so much for coming on my show, gracing it with your beautiful presence and this beautiful conversation. Thank you again. And
thank you. I love the impactful, preciseness of your questions. Thank you so much.
thank you. It's been my pleasure. Thank you for hearing us, guys. I'm going to log off from The Good Coach. This is Ruchi Parekh signing off. Thank you.